Hey guys, what's up? It's All Things MTG here today, back with another deck tech. Today we're gonna be looking at a control deck, a blue-white control deck. So I've been working on a control deck for very long now, trying to make the best that's like not too over expensive, and I've come up with this. So first, we're gonna take a look at the draw spells. Card advantage in a control deck is really important because you have to get those cards. If we like don't hit, we will have to get a counterspell some way. So we're going to have to draw into it. So we're gonna run 4 copies of Opt. Opt is a new card from Ixalan. It's instant speed, scry 1, draw card. So in other words, if you scry to the bottom, you're still looking at 2 cards. You're still going through 2 cards of your deck, which is continuously thinning your deck, and it's only for 1 mana at instant speed, which is just really amazing. We're gonna run 3 copies of Glimmer of Genius. Only 3 copies because I want to run another draw spell that I've tested, and it's actually worked out. Even though it's a very expensive draw spell, Glimmer of Genius is still amazing, and the 2 energy will help us on with our lands later on in this video. The fourth, what I like to say, the 4th Glimmer of Genius is Overflowing Insight. Overflowing Insight is 3 blue, 4 of anything, and it's a sorcery speed. It target player draws 7 cards. Draws 7 cards. That is just amazing. The fact that it's 7 mana. Yeah, it's 7 mana, which is a little bit much, but it's 7 mana to draw 7 cards. It's, even though it's not an instant speed, if you're at that late game where you have free 7 mana, that is drawing 7 cards. That's a brand new hand right there. Just think about that. So now we're gonna look at our removal spell. Our removal is pretty much only cast out. If it's just 1/1 removal, it's gonna be cast out, because cast out is just amazing right now. The fact that it exiles non-land permanents, not just creatures. The fact that that says non-land permanents makes it so amazing. And it has flash, and it's also got cycling, so even if we are in another control matchup, for example, we can easily just cycle that away. And then we're gonna run 4 copies of Fumigate. This is our main board wipe. So Fumigate is gonna destroy all creatures, and we're gonna gain 1 life for each creature destroyed this way. That 1 life, sometimes when you're facing against an aggro deck, say he booms his hand out, and then you're just like, turn 5, okay, maybe you took, I don't know, 5, 6, 7, 10, whatever, and then you're gonna go Fumigate, boom, gain 5, gain 6, whatever, you just gained a bunch of life. That's Fumigate is just still amazing in the format. Okay, what is a control deck without counter spells, right? So now we're gonna go towards our counter spells. So first we're gonna run 2 copies of Censor and 2 copies of Essence Scatter. Essence Scatter is counter target creature spell. There is a lot of creature based decks in the format right now, which makes Essence Scatter so amazing. Even in a control mirror match, your opponent is most likely playing, if it's blue-black, they're most likely playing that new god, which is amazing. This can counter it. You can most likely be playing Torrential Gearhulk. This can counter it. And it's just for 2 mana. It can, right now in the format, it can just counter so many things. Now we're gonna go towards Disallow. Disallow is just the best, I would say, the best counter spell in the format right now. It's just 3 mana, counter target spell, activated abilities, or triggered ability. You can counter it. Disallow is just amazing. Now we're gonna look at Insidious Will. This card, not much people has looked at, because they don't see that just make that 4 mana It's probably too much, but in testing, it's actually amazing. So it's 2 blue and 2 of anything for an instant. Choose 1 counter target spell. You may choose new targets for target spell. You may copy target instant or sorcery spell, and you may choose new targets for the copy. Once again, it's a hard counter. That's what's really important. It's another hard counter. Even though it's 4 mana, it's still a hard counter. The second ability is hardly used, but it still is useful sometimes. And the third ability is what's amazing. Copy target instance or sorcery spell, and you may choose new targets for the copy. So if you're in a control matchup, for example, you can go like, he'll go counter spell. Instead of you going counter spell, you can go copy your counter spell and counter spell. You can also change the target of his counter spell to target the spell that you're trying to counter, which makes it so if he was to therefore counter your spell, he will counter Insidious Will, and then you would be able to choose new targets, which is amazing. And sometimes the burn spells, you can just target yourself. So you go like, lightning strike your face, nope, target you. That is just, it's just hilarious when you can pull that off. Okay, so we've looked at all these counter spells, all this removal, draw spells. How are we gonna win? So how we're gonna win is, of course, we're playing white, and we're gonna play Approach. Approach of the Second Sun. Approach of the Second Sun is just pretty much an easy way to win. Just go Approach, opt, and yeah. So Approach is just amazing, and the fact that you gain 7 life, by the way, not much people notice this, but the fact that Approach gains you 7 life is just so important, especially when you're playing a control deck. The fact that you can gain 7 life just like that, it will save you a lot of times. The next card is Torrential Gearhulk. Of course we're going to play Torrential Gearhulk. Why aren't we going to play Torrential Gearhulk? Yes, Torrential Gearhulk's price has actually dropped dramatically, making it's actually less than, I think $16, something like that. For that price, Torrential Gearhulk is just so worth it. And then we're gonna run a copy of As Foretold. As Foretold, this card, not much people play it because they don't realize how powerful it is. When I actually first saw it printed, I knew that I thought that it was gonna be a powerful card, but it actually didn't get much play. And in testing, if you can get an early As Foretold, it's just so useful. It's almost like a free spell. So let's say you have to tap out for Fumigate, and then you have like tap out for Fumigate, and you have As Foretold at like 3 counters. Then you can just disallow for free on their turn. As Foretold works on their turn as well. That is just amazing. Now we're gonna look at the lands. Of course we're gonna need lands. We're gonna run 2 copies of Ether Hub. Because we're only running 3 Glimmers, and that's our only way to make energy. We don't want to have that many Ether Hubs, so we're just gonna run 2 copies. Now we're gonna run 4 copies of Glacial Fortress. Just dual land, untapped dual land, pretty much amazing. Evolving Wilds to thin the deck. And we're gonna run Irrigated Farmland, another dual land, a cycle land, and then we're just gonna grab 6 islands and 6 plains. So that's the main deck. So now we're gonna look at the sideboard, because there are a decent amount of creature-based fast decks. Authority of the Consuls, I think, is still a good card to put in the sideboard, because if your opponent has just a lot of creatures and you just go have an authority out, you just gain so much life. That life gain is just it's so good. 2 Essence Scatters against main creature-based decks, finish off the playset. A Glimmer against in a control deck matchup, you'll be able to, trade off and more draw spells. On Summon, a return target, instant speed. Sometimes you just have to unsummon when your opponent's playing a really fast deck. You just have to go unsummon. 4 negates, a playset of negate. Because once again, control matchups and more people like burn. I don't know. You can run negate right now. It's amazing. Planeswalkers. 2 copies of Torrential Gearhulk to finish off the playset. If you would like, there's another Overflowing Insight. Once again, up against control decks, as foretold. Amazing. If in a slow game that you know you're gonna be slow, you're gonna board in an as foretold, which is amazing. So that's the deck. So what do you think about this? Thank you for watching. The deck list will be down in the description below, and I'll catch you guys in the next one. And as always, remember to subscribe, and as always, peace out.